So let me cover a bunch of other stuff. Let me say again, these guys do a great job. I love to watch them coach. Like I tell parents all the time, as a parent myself, I always wanted my kids to be around other adults who shared a similar temperament, values, and a philosophy of life that I shared, because I knew that sometimes they needed other people. Sometimes, they're not going to listen to their dad, it's dad again. But to be around these guys, I think you're really lucky that we have such great coaches, good people, and I like the way they conduct themselves. It's really important. What you're going to notice about the Gateway program and our Gateway parents is that we do set a pretty high standard in the way we're going to act. So let me talk just a little bit about that and fill in some other things. As a parent of a basketball player and a baseball player, I know what it's like to get all riled up as a father. That's typical. And what they're saying about letting stuff go is something that's really hard for us to learn. It took me a while to learn. Just let the kid have fun. And a couple things about what I'm noticing with officiating. Our thing with officiating, and you'll find me as a coach, I'm much better at this than I used to be. I don't get all that upset about bad officiating. It's going to happen, especially at the middle school level. You're going to have officials that are going to drive you crazy. We just try to stay calm. What we like to do is make sure we're the only one as a coach talking to the official, not you, as a mom and dad always talking to them, right? But we're the one talking to them. If we feel like there's things that they're missing, or there's a tendency that they seem to, it's really important that they see it or see feel what we're thinking about it. It's important that we relay that message. But what I'm noticing with officials now, because there's so few, it's so hard to find officials, is that a lot of them are young, they're experienced, and they don't have much tolerance for your comments as a spectator. And I have seen parents, good parents, who I've never ever heard them really be very negative, say one negative thing, and they were kicked out of the gym last year. We had 2 parents. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But that's because you've got officials now who are, they're begging for officials, and the last thing is for official to come, and he's taking it from people in the stands. So you're gonna hear this again and again. It's important that we all learn how to behave, stay calm, and don't blame things on officials. They're gonna make mistakes. But sometimes your comments are going to be taken the wrong way, and they have a very low tolerance for that. And I don't see that changing. I think it's going to get even heightened as we have shortages of officials. So that's really important. As far as the kids are concerned, a couple things about the academics that they were talking about. We do have a no pass, no play. Y'all should know about that. But if they're taking an AP class, if they don't pass an advanced placement class, it's called an honors class, there is a waiver. It's the only waiver we give. We don't think our kids should be penalized because we have pretty high academic standards here. You can request a waiver. It can only be given to the head of school, and only the head of school can grant it. Not the teacher, not the coach, nobody else, okay? So there's no politics involved. What the head of school will look at is the student giving forth the best effort, what's their behavior like, and if they feel like they're not in jeopardy to continue to play, it's possible they can still play. That is the rule, and nobody can change that rule with any coach. But you need to be getting your work done. If a student athlete is continually struggling academically, what we say is, maybe you shouldn't be doing athletics. It's okay. But academics comes first, and you got to show us you can handle both. But if it's constantly a problem, and you're constantly not passing, and this extra time you're spending in athletics is taken away from that, we'd recommend that you just take some time off. We're okay with that. Schoolwork comes first. All of us support that. But there is a waiver process when you're taking honors courses, because all of us here are offering a lot of tough coursework. That's what we're trying to do. Get you ready for college, right? The other thing about the tryouts, so technically, while we do tryouts now, this is actually the off season. And there's a official basketball season, which I think was October 23rd. I'll find it right here on the schedule. Let me find it real quick. Here it is, Team International. Basketball season starts on October 25th. So that Right there, those 3 days is when middle school will set a roster again. That's the official roster, whether they wait 2 days or 3-day practices. But so we have another time, we have to do it by UIL rule. And at that time, we set an official roster. You make it or you don't make it. And then we issue uniforms to those that have turned everything in. That gets turned into the UIL. And then we're rocking and rolling, we start playing. The middle school schedule will be posted. We've got most of the games already lined up, and they are scheduled, but we've got to get it on this new website. So look for that. I'm sure that'll be done before the end of next week. And we'll go ahead and get the practice schedule on there as well. So that's really important. A couple other things, volunteering. These guys are going to need some help. We have got to have adults to run the scoreboard, to be a scorekeeper. And if that's something that you would do and just head that up and say, hey, coach, I got that. I'm going to make sure you always have somebody to run the clock and to keep the official scoreboard. That would be such a big help. We give you a waiver on the UIL fee if you make that happen, okay? That's something that's super, super important. If you're somebody else that likes to take statistics and take statistics that the coaches would like, I'm sure they would appreciate that. That would be super, super helpful. So there's a lot of different ways to help out the program. Maybe you like to videotape, and you'd make it a point to videotape every game, and they can look at that and have that for their coaching. I think that would be very, very helpful as well. A couple other things about safety. You're talking about buying equipment. So our colors are, what are our colors? Green and orange. Do we want you wearing red shoes? No. You know why? That's Ingram Moore's colors. Blue shoes? No. No, it's Gerald's colors. It's Blanco's colors. That's Lago Vista's colors. Oh my gosh, don't wear blue. Our rivals. So here's the deal. All right, look, if you've already bought some nice new Air Jordan Reds, okay, you made a mistake. So we're going to let you wear those out. But if you're buying new stuff, orange or green, gray is fine, black is fine, white is fine. But please, not red, blue, yellow, gold, all right? Take pride. The other thing I recommend too for basketball guys is I really do recommend they get used to wearing a mouth guard. Some of you haven't heard me tell this story. My son played basketball here, and I would talk to him and say, Chase, I mean, you know, these guys are taking away your outside shot. Now you're going to the basket a lot. You probably should have a mouth guard. He said, nah, Dad, I got this, I got this. So we're playing a game, an away game, and we're wearing our dark uniform, and my son's playing for our Gateway School. First year we were in UIL, and he's having a really good game, and we're beating this team, and the fans are all just really into it because they don't want us to win. And at some point in the game, somehow a guy's shoulder caught him underneath the chin, and he bit his tongue. And when he came, I could see that it was just bobbing his way, he was holding his mouth, and he had some moisture on his on his jersey, but of course he was sweating and everything. And at some point, the fans started yelling to referees, hey, he cut himself, he's got blood on his jersey, blood on his jersey. Which would have meant, what? He'd have to come out of the game, right? And he's like, you know, he's really on fire, I don't want to take him out of the game, and you know, let's get down to the final minutes. And we had a timeout, I looked and I couldn't really see much. And he goes, yeah, I'm fine, I'll put back in there. And I couldn't tell that it was blood because he had a dark green jersey on, right? So he kept playing. Finished the game, we won the game. We drive the bus, we come back here, and my son comes running out of the locker room. He says, Dad, look. And he opens up his mouth, sticks his tongue out, and it looks like a snake. He has completely split his tongue. Now I gotta take him to the ER to get his tongue stitched. Took 7 stitches in his tongue. Now I tell that story to say, if he had a mouth guard, it would not have happened. Do you think he started wearing a mouth guard after that? No, he didn't wear a mouth guard after that. So I just tell the kids, yeah, it's a little weird to get used to it, but Stephen Curry uses a mouth guard, doesn't he? Yeah, Stephen Curry. Yeah, he's got out of his mouth all the time when he's in a free throw, but when he's in the contest and he's taking it to the rack, he's taking it to the rim, he's got his mouth guard in. So there's a couple things you want to do to prevent that. About injuries. On page 7 of the athletic handbook, which you all signed, it says, regarding health insurance, Gateway College Prep is not responsible financially for any injuries or illness as a result of athletics. You signed that. I still get parents occasionally, hey, you know, this thing happened, here's my bill. I go, no, that's not the way this works. We tell you, you should have insurance. The catastrophic coverage, we collect $5 from you, and most schools and throughout Texas do this because with that, all that does is it gives you an extra pocket of money in case your insurance doesn't cover $25,000 out of pocket. So if your son had a serious injury, maybe it was going to cause him to be paralyzed or something, a serious injury, and your health insurance is covered as much as it could, but it's $25,000 or more, that then kicks in and you get that extra coverage. It has nothing to do with us. There's no school in Texas that can offer athletics if we were responsible for any injuries. Now, all of us have mandatory training we get every year as a coach on safety. We're all CPR certified. We all have AED certification. We all learn about concussions, heat-related illnesses. But you know what? It still happens. It's an athletic event. Accidents are going to happen, and we can't always prevent those things. We're going to do everything we can, and I tell you to get a mouth guard, but it's still up to your child to wear one or not. He splits his tongue. He's in an ER. That's not on us, just so you know that. But you signed that, and make sure you understand that. So as far as those kinds of things, that's really important. I want to talk about just player discipline as well. Going back to how we expect our kids to behave, I'm really proud of the way our kids behave. We just don't tolerate. I mean, I know it gets in a moment, you can react and try to, just protect yourself. But we've got to make sure that we're right on that and tell the kid, hey, okay, we understand that. That's second. But when the other team's egging it on, when they're starting to use that kind of, in-your-face sort of attitude, we don't return that sort of thing. We don't return that. Let me tell you about my coaching philosophy and how I like to see all of us dealing with kids and our behavior. I like to think of myself, first of all, I'm a teacher, I'm not a coach. I'm a teacher. And the thing about basketball, I love basketball. I played football, basketball, and baseball. But what I love about sports and I love about basketball is it teaches your son about some really important lessons in life. And the first one is, how do you handle adversity? And how do you handle somebody kind of giving it to you and rubbing it in? And I think it's important to learn how to handle that because you know what, in life, that's what happens. How to handle adversity. Being a small business owner myself, I learned that, man, sometimes it's hard work. And bad things happen. I still got to make payroll. I still got to get the paycheck put out. I got to perform. It doesn't matter. Where do I learn that stuff? In part, I learned that through athletics. How do I behave when somebody's just being irritable and they're just in my face and they're making fun of me and they're rubbing it in? Am I going to retaliate? Or am I going to stay calm and just get back at them by just winning and with good sportsmanship? And those are the things we try to use basketball for, the lessons in life that I think are really important, and they happen right there on the hardwood. It's a great opportunity to learn all that stuff. And we're going to help your kids learn how to do that. So my coaching philosophy is I'm a teacher. The second thing I would say about that is that the way I like our teams to operate, if you go watch some of these big schools, inner city schools, and there's just some schools that use intimidation, right? That's what they do. And they're in your face. And we've got some teams in our district that have done this. We go into their gym and there's this intimidating factor. You can feel it, you can see it, and it's kind of the way the kids act, and some of the coaches encourage it. And you wouldn't believe some of the things we've had coaches say and do that are our district opponents. And I'm telling you, if I had a coach ever say or do some of those things, they wouldn't be coaching here anymore. But it's going to happen. And they're going to do some things that we don't appreciate, and it's going to get us riled up, and we are not going to play that game. So the way I like to look at it is I like to think that I'm kind of like my basketball team's like a jazz group, We're playing jazz. And no matter what's happening out there, we're going to be efficient, it's going to be creative, it's going to be fun, it's going to be beautiful, and you're going to see our kids learn how to handle adversity. They're going to see us execute our stuff. You're going to see us be able to do multiple things because our kids are smart. And they're athletic. And they've learned how to play the right way. And you're going to go, man, wow, look at those kids. That's just beautiful to watch. That's what I want you to think when you watch us play basketball. Not, man, we're the king of the hill. Look at us intimidate those guys. We're just rubbing it in. And aren't we all, If I ever see a kid do this after he makes a shot, that's not what we do around here. Me. No, what we do around here is, thank you, man, it's a nice pass. Good job. Kid dives for a ball, we're right there to help pick him up. You're on the bench, you're not playing, but you're cheering on your guys. All you basketball players hear this? This is what we're looking for. It's not just about, can you shoot, can you pass? It's about, what's your attitude like? Because that's all part of what you need to learn here as well. What kind of a young man are we producing? Okay? That's what we're looking for. So it's not just your playing time, it's also when you're not playing. It's your body language. It's staying positive. And I know we've got to help you sometimes. And I know a lot about this because I've coached a lot of teams that haven't won a lot of games. Trust me, I've learned how to be humble through the game of basketball. It's been good for me. And whenever we become a winning program, well, there's not going to be anybody any happier than me. But I'm not a sore loser. I've learned. I'm just so thrilled to get to work with these kids and play the game of basketball, play it the right way. It's a joy. I have fun. I love to come out and watch your guys and your kids. So we're going to have fun, and we're going to be good. Last thing I want to say is to tell you a little bit about our system. Because some of you may know basketball, you may go, why do they do this? Let me quickly talk about that, and then I'm going to let you go. Another group coming in. On defense, what we run is a 1-3-1 zone, but it's a pressure zone. And we can extend it to the full court, or we can back it up and make it a 3-quarter. But what you will see us doing is a 1-3-1 zone from 7th grade all the way up. Now we also do it when we have 5th and 6th grade teams, they do it. Now you go, oh man, I think kids should learn how to play man-to-man defense. I think, yes, we cover that, we do that. And certainly we have to practice that because we have to practice against a man-to-man defense because we're going to see that too. And even in a zone, you're still playing a man in your area. So you've got to learn how to defend that player in your zone. That's a 1-to-1. But we do it through a zone, and it's a 1-3-1, and everything we do is out of that. Now we can extend it to the full court. We can also do some variations off the 1-3-1, where all of a sudden we kind of move some people around. Sometimes we're trapping everywhere. Sometimes we're only trapping certain people. Sometimes we're faking traps. But all of our kids are going to learn the 1-3-1. They're going to learn what it means to be the blitz. The blitz is always the guy up top. And our kids should take pride. I want to be the blitz. I want to be the blitz. And our kids should learn what it means to be the blitz and how important that position is. And then we have a guy called the monster. He's always between the ball and the basket in our defensive system, always. Then we have a guy called soldier. He's usually in the back. He's a quicker guy. But we also sometimes will move him up in front of the monster. And he knows if I'm soldier, I'm either in the back behind monster or I'm in front of monster. And then on each side of that 1-3-1, we have guys called the wolf. And they learn what their job is. If ball's on their side, their weak side, or vice versa. They learn that. And by the time they get to us at the high school level, they know this stuff. They go, hey man, I know, I got it. And they start getting really, really good at it. So a couple of years ago, we started to do this and say, we're just doing it throughout our program. We're just going to get really good at it. And I think it fits with the kind of athletes we have here at Gateway. We don't offer football. We're never going to offer football. I play football. I love football. We're going to do. But that's expensive. Takes too many of your resources. We'll never, ever be able to compete in football. But it allows us to spread our wealth and spread our resources to all of our sports. But it also means that the kind of kids that come here aren't typically the big, bulky, really athletic, huge guys. They still come here because they're not going to play football. So the 1-3-1 is one that requires a little more speed, agility, and just, great conditioning. And as long as you can run and you bust your tail, there's a chance you're going to get to play defense for us. So that's what we do. And then on offense, what we do is what's called a read and react offense with elements of the mover blocker. Now, I didn't invent all this stuff. We had to pick some of the things that we chose that we thought was best for our kids, but we have adapted it over the years, and it's my system that is our way of teaching those two offensive systems that we combine. So you can Google it and go, what's a read and react offense? And our kids are all going to know this. They start learning it at a very early age. I know we got some of our 7th graders that run the 6th grade storm team. Raise your hand. I know you guys are, back row. They're all hanging out together. So these guys last year were on the 6th grade team that one of our parents, Coach Norman, coached, and he had all of our stuff, and he started working with these guys, and they're running our offense, the first couple layers of our offense really well. They ran our 1-3-1, and they're doing a really good job with it. So, that's why it's important to have a system, to have a program, and we all do it. But on the offensive side, we do this read and react. The cool thing about it is if you have the basketball, you can do anything with the basketball. Now, of course, the coach is going to say who can shoot a three and who can't, because he's going to learn this kid cannot shoot. Well, anybody can shoot. You're supposed to make it, right? It's supposed to go in. I can shoot. Well, wait a minute. What's your shooting percentage? And that's really important that when you shoot it typically goes in. And if you can show us that you can shoot from the outside, out the three-point line, well, then we let you shoot that. So the coaches will say this is where you're allowed to shoot. But when you have the ball and you're in that spot, you can do whatever you want to do. But in the read and react, everybody else is taught how to react to the ball and how to react to what the defenders are doing. And we have certain reads and reactions. And it's just a really cool thing. It opens things up. And we can put one guy in the post, two guys in the post. It's just really a cool thing. And we've been doing that for years. And at the high school level, our kids now are getting pretty good at doing it. And I think it's going to pay off, especially this year. I think we're going to have a very competitive high school varsity team. I'm really excited about it, so we'll see. All right, let me stop there. The last thing I want to just show you is, you know, how do my, oops, I didn't even do that. How did you write this down? How do my kids get better? Understand that we as coaches are very restricted in what we're allowed to do with UIL time. This is the off season. We're actually only allowed 300 minutes a week. And you've got 30 kids in the middle school program, 35 kids, and it's just you and the coach and 35 kids. And you're doing some drills, you're doing conditioning. You're not doing a whole lot of one-on-one basketball skill development. That's something that if kids really want to get good at it, they have to do it on their own. That's how you get really good at basketball. So we're sort of limited. And then the season comes on, and yes, we always do skill development. We have our shooters work on that, our dribblers work. But when it comes down to it, we don't get a whole lot of time to really develop your kids' skills. And so there are excellent resources out there to go to. And let me just tell you one right now, and you can write it down. I might be able to find it, but it's on. It's called focusshooting.com. And I can show you how to get there, I guess. Oh, it's on your paper. Oh, there you go. Man, I'm so organized. I'm pretty organized. If you go there, there's a lot of great videos on shooting. We have a philosophy of shooting, and that's why we try to get kids in the shooting camp as early as possible to show them how to shoot the basketball correctly. And unfortunately, sometimes by the time they get to middle school, if they've been shooting a basketball the wrong way, it's a hard habit to break. Unfortunately, a lot of kids at a young age, they're taking a heavy ball, it's a too big a ball, and the basketball goal that they're shooting at is 10 foot, and guess what they're having to do to make it, right? They're doing this. And obviously, that's not how you do it. In fact, when they come out to our shooting camp, we can show them how, even a little kid can make a shot, even at a 10-foot goal, although we recommend you lower it for the younger kids, by doing it the correct form and turning your shooting shoulder, aligning your shooting shoulder to the basket, and how we teach all that stuff and show them, man, look, even the little guys can do it if they do it correctly. Because they're really shooting with one hand, and the other hand is just an offhand. And what happens is kids learn how to shot put it, and then by the time they get to high school, they're shooting with two hands, and this hand's putting too much pressure on the basketball, so it doesn't rotate the right way, and it goes off. And what we tell kids is, we're going to teach you how to shoot straight. Okay? That's the most important thing, where if you're going to miss, at least miss short or long, not left or right. If you're missing left or right all the time, that's an alignment issue. We can help you with that. But then we're going to show you how to do it the right way, but you got to practice it the right way. So if they go off to your garage and they're shooting on the goal that you have by your garage, but they're not shooting it the right way, it's a waste of practice time, right? It's just a waste. So it's helpful if you as a parent also at least know, even if you're not a basketball coach, you go, oh, they use the Forest system, F-O-R-E-S-T. They use the Forest system. What does it stand for? What does the F stand for? The kids are supposed to know that. You should know that as a parent, and you remind them of that from time to time. And every time they shoot, they should call out if it was missed left or right. And then you go, okay, I gotta fix that. Long or short, we don't worry too much about that. That's other issues, but they're very fixable. But when they're way off to the right or the left, you never know where it's going. Oh my gosh, that is not okay. We can fix that. That is simply a technique, it's a fundamental issue. And if they'll listen to us coaches and do it the right way, they'll learn at least how to shoot. Every kid should know how to shoot and make it. Now, one last step. What about playing time? How's my kid going? How's he going to get to play? It's competitive around here, not so much at the middle school, but we're going to play the kids who give us the best chance to win. That's the way it works, especially when it's a district contest that's meaningful. And I tell the coaches all the time, just be careful. You think you're up by 10 points, and you think you can bring in the other guys to give them a little time, be careful. I've learned. Momentum can switch really quick. This is a competitive school, nothing wrong with that. And if they want to get better, they need to work at it. But we play the kids that we think give us the best chance to win and have the right attitude, and we will help them to get successful. But they've got to work at it. So I've got kids at the high school level, and they're juniors, and they hope to play this year, and there's a lot of competition for just a few spots. And 2 of those kids at the free throw line shoot less than 50%, and the other guy shoots 65% from the free throw line. Everything else is equal. Who do you think is going to play? What do you think is going to play? The guy that shoots the higher percentage. So it comes down to sometimes to the math. I tell kids all the time, I go, I'm a coach, I can shoot. I go, dude, we've been recording you. This is what you're shooting. I'm sorry, the statistics don't bear it out. So there's some subjectivity. My favorite basketball players are the following. 1, they're hard workers. 2, they're coachable. 3, they listen to what you have to say. They got a great attitude, they're team players. And 4, they're working on their game. So I play favorites. I do. And last thing, you may run into a time where you have a problem with the coach. You're just so frustrated. The rule on that is never talk to a coach after a game, right? Unless it's just, something about the weather or, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. But you don't confront the coach about your son after a basketball game. If it's to the point where it's bugging you and you start this negative chatter, which I know it happens, you just become negative. And you're saying something negative to your son about the coach. Or you're calling up somebody else and saying something negative about the coach. You need to meet with the coach. Now, if it's about your son's playing time, the rule is set up an appointment with the coach and your son needs to be there. Okay? All right? So if you will obey that, we'll respect you. We'll respect your son. You will never see us embarrass your son on the basketball. We never want to do that. I don't believe we do that. Does that mean a child never gets pulled from a game? I can't speak with these guys, but here's my deal about, you pulled my son out of the game when he made a mistake. The answer is yes, sometimes I do that. And let me explain why. Do I do it to every player? Nope, I don't. I'm not fair that way, but here's why. There are some kids that they make the same mistake over and over. I'm not going to let them stay in. There's another kid who makes a mistake, but they kind of one of those kids, they just get it, and they probably are not going to make that mistake again. I don't pull that kid from the game. So again, as a coach, I've learned who the kids are. I've been around them. I've been in all the practices. I learned their tendencies. I make that decision. You may not like it. I get that. And anytime we're responsible for important decisions, like who makes a roster and playing time, we know we're going to have people that like us and don't like us. I have to sometimes make a judgment call on if we're going to open school or not with bad weather, right? And every time I make that call, guess what? Half the parents are happy with me, and half of them are on Facebook, they're just going off. I can't, and my daughter, she's funny because she checks it and she goes, Dad, how can you handle these people are just so negative? And I just laugh, like, it's business too, it's always that way. And I've learned to let that stuff go. I do the best I can. I'm not going to please everybody. And you as a parent sometimes aren't going to be happy with the coach. Just don't let it boil and fester. Okay, deal with it. One last story. It wasn't a basketball story, but we had a parent a couple of years ago at another sport. I won't mention who it was. And they didn't like what was going on. And during one of the contests, while the contest was going on, they got near the place to play and started shouting some pretty nasty things about our coach, so the whole world could hear. I happened to be there as the athletic director, and of course, this is not okay. And it was one of those things where it had been festering and building and nobody had dealt with it. And that's not good. So what we did was we called the parents in, and I was there along with the coach, and here's how the conversation always goes. What you did happens. In the heat of the moment, sometimes that happens. It's not okay. So here's what needs to happen. In this case, the parent, this wasn't the first time. And so the decision was either you don't attend any more of the events or your son is off the roster. Which one do you choose? Now this is voluntary. Basketball is voluntary. You understand that. It's not, this is not an entitlement. It's voluntary. And the family decided, okay, we won't go to any more games. And I think it was 2 weeks later, we were in a playoff game, and their son, who didn't get to play a whole lot, but he was put in there for pitch runner, scored the winning run to win the game. And the place went crazy. And the parents weren't there to see that because of their attitude. And not just letting the process happen because they were living through their kid. And I know it happens, but it's not okay. And just know that we as a school will always address that. We'll have a meeting with you. We'll try to understand what your concerns are, and we'll do the best we can to address it, but it's not okay for it to continue, okay? And I guess that'd be my last point. All right, thanks for coming. Now you got a good picture of the culture and how we do things. I hope you're on board. Question? Somebody?
Let y'all know, I do open the gym every Sunday. My wife lets me come. So when you see it, thank you. But every Sunday from 12 to 4, when the middle school kids come on, you have the gym, so you don't have to worry about them getting the big guys until they want to. But at 2 o'clock, the big guys take over the whole floor. So come up, get some work. And in the summer, on Mondays and Thursdays, I work out from my 12 to 2. I'm only seeing like maybe Little Luther used to come, and he missed like what, 1 week at the end of the week, at the end of the summer. And even Coach Miller said he's improved big time. So there's opportunities out here. Don't go spend all your money on some training that's going to take your money. I'll do it for free. And I like doing it. All right?
Thanks for coming, y'all. Appreciate it. If you have any more questions, feel free to come up to us.